Advanced Quest Part 6 is going to be coming to the NA side of things, and not only is it good to get because these CEs make farming free quests a lot easier, but we will also get Saint Quartz for completing these, kind of like doing the interludes or the rank up quests that we have those type of missions. We'll get those for making sure you're up to date on these advanced quests. So what I wanted to do in this video is not just tell you how to beat these advanced quests, but more show you. So after this kind of intro bit, I have 3 separate gameplays that I put commentary on the background of, so you guys can see my thought process going through the fights as I explain what's going on and show you how to beat them. Because I know that most players should be able to get through this pretty easily, but again, maybe some newer players aren't as familiar with the mechanics, or they don't quite understand what the bosses are doing. Trust me, they're not all that difficult, and I'll give you guys some tips as we, look at team building and stuff along those lines. I'll explain why I'm using the servants that I'm using, all that good stuff. So hopefully this helps you out, and if you have any further questions, again, I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at about 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so if you need to ask any questions, feel free to go follow me on my Twitch and, be live for those streams, or you can come into the Discord, which should be working now. I know the Discord link wasn't quite working for the last video I did, but we do have that working. So if you have any further questions, you can always at me or other people in the FGO channel to get some additional help. And as per usual, if you find this video to be helpful, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel for that sweet daily FGO content, where I'm going to keep you informed on the goings-on of both the NA and JP side of things. But without further ado, let's move into the first advanced quest. The first fight is going to be against Hans, which is fairly easy to get through. The first turn is essentially going to be a freebie, and as the fight goes on, he is going to summon other books alongside him that are going to buff the enemy party, but also, remove some debuffs that you get slapped at the beginning of the fight. Namely, it's going to be an NP seal that goes away once the blue book is summoned, and then if you're able to take out Hans, the fight effectively ends. But your first turn, outside of maybe somebody like a Kiara that can pierce defense and invincibility, is going to be more of a setup turn, because as you can see, he gives himself 90% defense and invincibility. Both are unremovable, so your first turn is essentially free setup. Do you want to make some stars? Do you want to just get some NP ready for when your NP seal is, freed up from you? You can kind of do whatever you want. Because next what he's going to do is summon the red book, and the red book is going to remove his invincibility, but also give the enemy party a 90% attack buff. Now this is where it's a little bit annoying, because if you have somebody like I'm using Bakken for this, she doesn't really do the most crit damage. She's not exactly known for being a super crit heavy servant, so it might take me a good turn or two, even with the Origin Bullet CE giving me a decent power mod against casters. It still might take a little bit to actually down this guy, but regardless, they're not really doing anything that's particularly threatening, so you can effectively take your time getting through this. It's not super difficult. Again, if you also end up in a scenario where you're not finding, say, your arts cards for your Bakken and you got Castoria, you don't have to go ahead and use these. You can more so time your buffs until you actually need them. In a couple of practice runs that I was doing for this, I didn't see Bakken's cards for until the 3rd turn or something, so I just preserved my arts buffs for as long as possible. But in the case of you using Bakken, who is out on raid up right now, make sure you are firing those arts cards as often as possible to give yourselves those bigger attack buffs. So yeah, we're on the 2nd turn where we still don't have the blue book coming in, which should be coming in either the turn that you defeat the red book or at the end of the 3rd turn, and that is when your NP is going to be available to you. That's when you're going to start doing some real big boy damage. But as per now, we're still just going to try to hope maybe we get a crit, see if we can't take him out. Maybe this quick card will go absolutely ham. Not quite. Close but no cigar. A little unfortunate. But now he'll summon the blue book. This will remove the defensive buff off of Hans, so he is way more vulnerable, and we actually can use our NPs now. Now, if you are going to be using people like Waver and Castoria, do remember that if you want to go, big on the damage, you do want to go ahead and fire their NPs first. That way you're able to get the defense down from Waver's NP and the attack buff from Castoria's NP as well. But even if you don't have them, I mean, it's still a good rule of thumb for these type of battles where you want to do a lot of damage, that even if you're using someone like a Merlin or a Proto Merlin, if you're going to be doing this after Anniversary, that you do put their NPs in front of your main DPS, because usually their overcharge is something like a card buff, or it's their power mod that's getting overclocked, things along those lines. And so now we're going to go ahead and hit it with the Bakken NP over here. In the few test runs that I've done, because my Bakken is NP1, and obviously the third skill wants you to get more arts cards hits to get more attack, it's a little dubious as to whether or not this does take them out or not. It's been very touch and go when I've been doing this, and this time is one of the runs where we do not actually take out Hans. But we did thankfully get this done, and now all of his stuff is removed because the books are the things that are providing the party buffs, the NP every single turn, the 50% attack buff, all that good stuff. And then now we can just go ahead and fire our, buffs that we've been kind of sitting on because we're already at 100% NP, why waste them? And so now we'll just go in with another Bakken NP, and this should seal the deal. It's really not all that difficult. It's kind of free, in my opinion. The only annoying thing is that your NP is sealed at the jump, so you can't just run in there and just booty blast everybody. You kind of have to wait a little bit, but other than that, it really is not all that hard. So you do that, you get this advanced quest done, you get the Pages CE, as well as another mission done for whenever we get the advanced quest missions that give you Saint Quartz. The Automaton one is almost a farming quest. This one is laughably easy. I mean, I'm not even bringing a strong Mystic Code to buff up my Kiara or anything. I'm bringing a free-to-play CE, and you guys are going to see how laughably easy this is. There are going to be 6 enemies in the node, meaning that even your quick servants, before getting Ruler Scotty, who has the higher NP gain because of the higher quick buff and everything, should be able to loop this one very easily. Just bring your strongest AoE servant that you have that's going to be good against assassins. So either, I don't know, a Nero caster, a Kiara, any alter ego that you have that's really strong. Even Lip should work really good for this if you have her at a higher NP copy. And again, the waiver I'm pretty sure everybody does have, but Castoria you can substitute out for any strong support that's going to be able to buff whoever you've got, right? And we can just kind of blow through our buffs here. I mean, they're not all that strong. Sometimes the 100k guys in the back, they sometimes live for Kiara's NP in some testing I've been doing. Again, mine is NP3, so, that's just an example of use whoever is really strong. But their whole gimmick is stunning you whenever they use their NP, but they're never going to make it that far. I mean, even if you're really desperate, I'm sure the coup caster you have from finishing Fuyuki can do this in a couple of NPs before they're able to fire their NP. But I mean, look at that. Even though they live with 1000 HP, they're absolute bums. It's an absolute cakewalk with these guys. Didn't even use the Kiara thing because it's going to hit the guys in the front line because they're the ones taunting. I really don't know what skill this is supposed to be testing, but it's just maybe a damage test for your AoEs being a certain strength level. I don't know if they think people are running in this with single target servants, but just don't do that. Bad idea. Use an AoE. It really doesn't make sense what the difficulty in this one is supposed to be. But hey, it is an absolute freebie. We take freebies on these advanced quests whenever we get them because some of the future ones are a little bit more annoying. So when they essentially just hand you a farming quest, we take those. Now, this final one might catch a few people off guard just because it's a little strange, but trust me, it's not all that difficult. Basically, you're going to load in. You're going to see this blue Oni that you have to take down, and once you proc his guts, he'll fall back. You'll go into the next wave, and there's going to be a bunch of little Onis around there, and the gimmick is you're supposed to take down the correct Oni, and it's really hard in Japanese because you can't read the hints until you realize, oh, the one you're supposed to take out is the Angry Hungry Ghost, the level 47 one. If you take him out, the blue Oni comes back and he doesn't get any of the buffs because all the other Onis, if you take them out, he'll get buffs like 50% attack up, he'll get 200k max HP, he'll get attack down that he can give you, defense down whenever he attacks, and his NP will go up by 50%. Now, if you're for more brave or heart or whatever and you want to go take that guy on, by all means, bring an AoE. But if you want some really good suggestions of people to bring, I'm using Chiron because the blue Oni is not only Earth, but he's also demonic and he's male, so that opens you up to not just Chiron for me, but you can use Super Orion because of his skill 1, Himiko because of her skill 2. If you're going to do this after, or maybe you're looking at this video after we have the Road to Lost Belt 7 Part 5, Chiyomi gets a buff on her skill 1 that gives her an anti-demonic trait as well. Rama, if you're really desperate, can do it. Uriel is anti-male, so you can use her. And then Watanabe is anti-Oni, and he actually gets a special crit buff if you do decide to go into this. Now, I'm going to show you guys real quick. You don't need to really waste too many buffs on your Chiron if you're going to use him, because mine is NP1, and with the Earth Power mod, he is more than capable of taking out this Oni. He is way overshotting 100,000 damage. It is really, really simple. I was worried that, you know, oh, I'm going to have to give him extra buffs and everything. But no, in doing some testing, he is able to pretty easily clear that 100,000 damage without really investing too many other buffs. And the reason we're not using some of the other buffs right now is that sometimes you can go over, you know, 3 turns. You know, you can go to like 4 or 5 turns if your card RNG is a little goofy. That's also why I have the plug suit with Jufu in the back. That way, if I really need to plug suit and get some extra NP, I can do that. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit this Oni right here, the level 47 one, and thankfully this is pretty decent RNG. The Mighty Chain doesn't matter for this, it's just we don't want to take out any of the other guys. So if at all possible, just try to take this guy out, that way the big blue Oni doesn't get any further buffs. I mean, technically he's not getting anything defensively, they're only offensive buffs, so he'll hit you kind of hard, but if you don't really particularly care about that, you could just bring an AoE that has either anti-earth or anti-demonic, and they'll be absolutely fine. But bro's going to run in here, he's going to remove their, you know, on-kill buffs or whatever. And now we just have to take out the large Oni. We don't have to care about any of the small dudes. We can just absolutely focus on taking this guy out. And Chiron here, I believe, does about 360 to 400k with this free-to-play CE. Obviously, I could have beefed up the numbers a little bit if I decided to, you know, give him like a Black Grail or something, but not everybody has Black Grail. I mean, I also get that not everybody has Castoria, so substitute in with servants that you have that can actually, you know, give your appropriate servant that you're using the appropriate buffs. So this should actually get in range of being able to take him out, because I got to the 360 to the 400k range when I was testing without plug suiting in Jufu, and I was not using the damaging Mystic Code over here. So this might actually get close to one-shotting him, and if this doesn't take him out, the crits afterwards definitely will. So it's not all that difficult. I mean, my goal with these is that if I can come up with a very simple strategy and provide you guys with a really easy way to go about clearing these, it'll help you out a lot, because even if you don't care about the free quest farming, the fact that we get, I think it's 9 Saint Quartz for every 6 advanced quests that we clear, it's just very nice to have. I don't want people missing out on Saint Quartz, because I've definitely put these on the shelf and have missed a lot of these over on the JP side of things. So don't be like me and make sure that you get these things done. I hope all of these have been helpful for you guys. I hope you're going to be able to get through these pretty painlessly when they come out, I believe, in a day, or they come out the day of this video coming out later on tonight. So I hope this helps you guys out. If you like this, again, I would appreciate it if you would leave a like on the video, subscribe for more content, and let me know if this did help in the comments down below. And if you prefer me doing this as opposed to just kind of telling you guys, I think showing is a bit more helpful.